Manor fans, welcome back to another episode of Monday Mojo. This is your co-host, Mr. Christopher Robert Sobba, alongside the other co-host, Maxwell, don't know your middle name, Schwabi, and of course, produced by our Emmy-nominated producer, E-Pup Baseline Baron, Mr. Evan Baron, the man, the myth himself.
He's no myth, man.
He's no myth. The man, the non-myth, the legend, Evan Barron. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why was it that I didn't do the intro this time, Chris?
I just kind of went with it. I rolled with it, you know.
Do you think I'm bad at it?
Not at all, Max. I love the way you do the intros. I think you're so good at them. I aspire to be like you when I do an intro. I hope the fans like what I did.
Yeah, keep trying. We'll get some feedback, questions from the dugout.
Yes, it's been a minute
Actually,
since we've done those.
Yeah, it is because no one responds to them, but we'll work on that.
True.
Chris, what are we talking about today? First of all, before we go into that, I want to say that we were 100% wrong with our predictions last week, and we are now transitioning from Mariner fans to Tacoma Rainiers and Everett Aqua Sox fans because we actually like watching the hitters.
Okay. Yes. We're not going to transition we're already a fan of the entire organization. Sure. So I see what you're saying. I do.
See what I mean? Yeah, you
know
have
what
to.
You mean. I know what you mean, but no, the boys are God, they got to figure it out because the Mariners, if y'all are not aware, we got a no-hitter. And when I say we got a no-hitter, I mean to say that we got no hit. Yikes. We're allowing pitchers to have career days against us this year. And I was at the beginning of the season, the first few games when we were having one-hit games against Greinke and Urias, for example, Greinke on the Astros, Urias on the Dodgers. We got one hit each of those games, and I was attributing that one hit games to their really good pitching ability. I really am not going to be attributing that to their other pitchers' ability anymore because our offense just kind of sucks. Was really good last night. Of course, this is Sunday, Monday Mojo, recorded on a Sunday, dropped on a Monday. But last night, speaking today, was Saturday. Offense looked really good. Evan White had a dinger. He had a double. He's had a couple ribbies. Dylan Moore had a double. He got on base a number of times. And the boys were looking good. JP's just been on a dang heater.
We love to see that. We really do.
We love to see. And
we also noticed that he's been moving up the lineup. And that's well deserved.
Yeah, it is. And it's interesting. Today he batted in the leadoff spot.
Yeah.
And Mitch has been struggling, striking out a lot. Ty France has been struggling, striking out not as much, but Mitch is striking out a lot, I've noticed. One thing I want to touch on is, Luis Torrens, you had some good plate appearances. You had some good at-bats. You got a number of hits. You smoked the bomb, a dinger. But what the heck happened, my guy, when you didn't place the tag at home? Two guys on, no force out. We had one out, and JP Crawford fields the ground ball. We were playing infield in towards the end of the game on Saturday. JP throws it to home plate, plenty of time to gun the guy down, and Luis Torrens doesn't apply the tag. He's safe without a doubt. That was disgusting.
Was that just because he had totally forgotten, or did he just have a mental error or
mental error?
Yeah, but I mean, I for one didn't see that specific play. Did he just stand there thinking it was a force out at home?
It looked like he thought there was a force out at home, and then it looked like he was going to try and throw the runner out at first to get a double play. Yeah. But the bases weren't loaded, therefore no force out, and so he decided to not tag him. That was just disgusting, and we ended up losing that game 9-8. When Evan White, he came around third I forget who hit the ball, but we had one runner score ahead of Kyle Lewis, and Kyle came around and got tagged out at home. 2 outs. It was the last chance we had in the game, and I don't fault third base coach sending him because he should have sent him. But when I was watching that replay after the double was hit down the line, Oh no, it wasn't a double. It was like a pop up. It was a pop up with 2 outs, and it ended up landing. And Kyle Lewis was not running full speed right off the hit. He was kind of, I'd say, going like 75%. And if he was going full speed right off the bat, he would have scored easily. But with him just kind of not stopping, but going at a 75% run, like you gotta be full steam ahead with 2 outs no matter what. Even if that ball doesn't, even if you don't think that ball is going to land, you got to be running quick. And he didn't. Got thrown out at home. We lost the game. Hell of a game. I mean, in all honesty, it was a great one to watch. Lots of runs being scored, but we couldn't pull it out
for once. Yeah. Why do you think? I mean, we started the season off well, and we can attribute that to, and that's not to say we're still very much in contention in the current position that we're in, but why? What I want to know is why, we're making errors for baseball 101 situations. The tag, not busting your ass, around the plate or what have you.
We had 3 errors today, by the way.
Yeah. And who committed them?
JP had one. I don't know who had the other 2. But
JP can get it past this time. He's been turning things around at the sure. Why not? Yes. Well, let me ask you something, Chris. Are we giving out too many free passes? But outside of the optimism that our job to do on this podcast, requires us to have, and the patience. And as long as we have a winning record, I'm happy to give our boys some free passes here and there, just dishing them out left and right. And I've brought this up for 3 weeks straight now. We have friends out there that are like, you know what, you're giving way too many free passes because you can't give a free pass to someone that's batting under 200. And I'm saying this to ad nauseum. I am. But what I do like to see, despite the fact that we came away from this past week going 2-4, when Chris and I were calling both for a sweep and a 5-1 overall record. Yeah, no, I feel that too, Chris. Heavy sigh. We're noticing that to some extent our bats are coming back to life, but are we sacrificing our bats for now baseball 101 and academia?
Well, one of the things that we obviously need to get figured out, our pitching staff, the entirety from starters all the way throughout the bullpen, are just getting bit hard by the injury bug. It's like coronavirus in the form of an injury bug has gone into that clubhouse and it's been super spreading like crazy. So we've just been getting a ton of injuries, and both times that we did a pitching by committee where we started a relief pitcher and they pitched 2 innings and so forth throughout the game, we would have a relief pitcher pitch 2 innings. That's the bullpen pitching the entire game, and that's not working. It's just too many guys getting they're bullpen pitchers. They're not used to, I guess, pitching in that scenario. And I get what Scott's doing and asking them to do that and making them do that, but it's not working. We can't do that. They're giving up a ton of runs in both games where we did that pitch by committee. We gave up, we lost last night, which was 8-9. That was pitched by committee. And then that was against Texas. And then against one of the games against Baltimore, we did the pitching by committee as well. And I think we lost. I know we lost. I don't know. I can't remember.
Well, yeah, I thought the Baltimore game pitched by committee situation worked out kind of well for us. Did it not? Am I remembering that incorrectly?
I could be remembering it incorrectly. It's been one hell of a week. Let's see.
Well, I mean, for the most part, right? Okay. Let's think about this logically then, right? Why would Service want to at least try that out? Because our bullpen had been phenomenal, right? But now I think, and you said this right before we started recording, we're putting too much on our bullpen to be responsible for.
Yeah. No, it was the first game against Baltimore where we pitched by committee. I remember because we didn't know who the starter was going to be that day. It ended up being Eric Swanson.
Oh,
Yeah, but we had Swanson pitch, Tapia pitch, Will Vest, Drew Steckenrider, Keenan Middleton, and Anthony Mizezewicz. Keenan also is hurt right
oh
now.
gosh.
Yeah, we're just getting. I'm not lying when I'm saying we're getting just absolutely annihilated by the injury bug.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of pitching for your bullpen to do, and then the following day you're expecting one of our starters to go 6-7 good innings, and if they don't, that's more bullpen usage. And so it's just like it's really putting yourself between a rock and a hard place, trying to plan for that week, because I mean it tires the entire bullpen for this series, especially going against Baltimore and starting off with a pitch by committee. You are wasting the bullpen for the entirety of that series. And so it's tough, man. It's tough. But again, as I've preached and said multiple times here on the show, I didn't get upset. I wasn't too upset this entire week watching baseball. I mean, we saw some good spots that we can try and focus on, but recognizing again, like we're not supposed to be phenomenal this year. And so we can't be having our expectations be through the roof every series, while I predict a sweep and a one loss, which did not happen.
So does that mean we got to start lowering our expectations?
Hell
like,
no.
okay. Before you answer that, I mean, do you think superstitiously would things turn around if we were to come at the end of today's episode? You know, we look at. I mean, we have. What do you call it? We've got some legitimate opponents coming up, right? One of them being the Dodgers, right? If we were to end the show and say, oh, we're probably, we might run into some trouble, we're going to go 2-5, right? Do you think we would turn things around by predicting incorrectly? And we haven't done this enough.
Mm-mm.
No,
I see what you're asking. I feel like, honestly, so far from what I've gathered through the season, the Mariners are doing a Seahawk thing. When they play teams that are tough, we play well.
Right.
And when we were playing teams that we're supposed to beat, we blow it. We were supposed to beat the Orioles. We were supposed to beat the Rangers, and we only beat them once each. It's like we're worse when we're playing worse teams, and we play better when we're playing better teams. And so we'll see what happens with the Dodgers. The Dodgers suck right now. They're so bad. Ever since they started at 13-2, they have complete flip-flopped, and they're on a 5-game losing streak right now. Mm-hmm. Trevor Bauer, after the post game, was saying how pissed he was. He hates losing, as does any competitor. He just hates losing, but they keep losing. And so we'll see what happens when we go to LA to see what the boys can do there. Again, same thing as we did with last time. I just want a series split. It's only a 2-game series, so I'll go 1-1. Chalk that up as a W. But then we got the Indians. If we do not win that series, I will just be thoroughly confused on what we got going on.
Right.
The boys, they gotta just keep grinding, I guess, keep getting them hits. It's tough to predict really anything with the way that the pitching's going. I mean, when our bullpen is used as a bullpen is supposed to be used, it's the best in the league. But when we're using a bullpen as starters, it is completely sideways. And so it's real tough stuff.
Well, I actually want to highlight one pitcher that's actually really shown a lot of promise in our starting rotation. I thought Justin Dunn looked great against Baltimore. Only gave a 1 earned run, was that home run, but he's just showing a lot more confidence. So what have you guys been seeing out of him through that?
No, Justin's fastball, he's getting better command with it. And he was asked before the season to lose some weight and gain some more muscle, which he's done, and that velocity has been getting up. And the big thing with him and that fastball is getting it into the strike zone, which he's been doing a better job of that as of late. But no, you're right. I mean, he only gave up 3 hits in 5 1/3 innings.
How many walks though, Chris?
4.
And I was with you when we watched this game. And Evan, it's a good question because again, we're still excited. I'm still very bullish on Justin Dunn, but just from watching, sitting down and watching him pitch, Chris and I couldn't help And if you listeners were watching him too, we couldn't help but cringe a little bit just in certain situations where, I mean, you said he has more control of his fastball. I completely disagree. I mean, there are situations when it really matters where he needs to hit his spots, and instead he'll give up a 4-pitch walk. Now, that said, yes, we did come away with the win, but I'm telling you, if Justin Dunn can get his walk count down to 2 maximum, I mean, obviously you wanted 0, right? But like for a young pitcher like Justin, that might not be yet achievable. But if he can get his walk count down and his pitch count by, like Chris said, he went 5 1/3, but that was only because his pitch count was up to,
you're right. No,
probably 90 at some point.
Yeah, no, that's let me kind of rephrase. It's gotten better. His control is gotten better, and that should be, like I just said, rephrased with.
I'll live with that.
It's still kind of garbage. He's still all over. He's not starting off with first pitch strikes as much as he should be, as we'd want, which ain't helping nobody. So that's pretty tough for a pitcher to continuously work behind from the count. But yeah, no, 5 1/3 innings, and he's throwing like 90 plus pitches. It's like, my guy, we need you to go deep. We need you to go deeper. And that was the game after we pitched by committee.
Right.
That was the second game of the series.
Yeah. I remember. That's right.
Like, what are we trying to do? And so,
I mean, obviously going into that game, when he gets on the hill, obviously the coaching staff Scotty Service told him, look, man, we drained a little bit, or a handful of our bullpen pitchers last night. Go as long as you can. Right. Yeah. So, and I think that's got to put him in the mindset, just to throw strikes, because, obviously as a pitcher, you're looking to hit spots, you're looking to hit down and away, inside corner, outside corner, at the knees, whatever. But in that kind of situation, and the funny thing about Justin Dunn is when he throws, when he pitches and batters make contact, there was some stat that they showed that they don't get hits off of them. They just put the ball in play and it goes right to our defense. Right. I think that's one thing that Justin needs to be more aware of, is he's got to, and again, I don't know if it is a mechanical problem or if he's trying to be too cute with it, but I think Justin has a lot of potential if he can just throw strikes. Because
you're hitting the nail on the head. I mean, he's got a phenomenal defense behind him.
For the most part.
Use it for the most part. Trust it, use it, let him make their plays. Get the ball in the strike zone. Start it off in the strike zone. It's tough, man, when he's throwing so many balls and working that pitch count way up and real early. It's not helping the squad. It's not.
Right. I want to ask you something, Chris, if this would be appropriate to read on this podcast, because I've read it over like 3 times now, and I want to read your manifesto that you wrote to our listeners, if that would make sense. I can go through it quick. The only reason I'm volunteering to do it is because I'm a phenomenal storyteller. I
love it.
But Chris, the brains of the Monday Mojo operation, for the most part, wrote a manifesto that really resonated with me, and I hope it resonates with you. It's titled, "Be Patient, Mariner Fans. Our time is almost here." No, these Mariner fans aren't perfect. Jerry's jigsaw puzzle has some missing pieces that need to be filled. Evan White can't hit. Ain't that the truth? Catchers drop the ball far too often. The infields make mistakes on should-be pieces of cake. Half the offense is flirting with the Mendoza line. I could go on, but I won't, because that's no fun. And I won't, because the puzzle Jerry has isn't far from getting framed on the wall. The missing pieces are on their way and coming soon. You want them now. I want them now. Everybody wants them now. If I was a betting man, I very much am. Chris very much is. I'm not a betting man. I'd bet almost every other GM in baseball would have brought Jared up by now. So what the hell is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. Jerry Dipoto takes no shortcuts. He's obsessed with not taking shortcuts. So obsessed with not taking shortcuts that he probably cleans his dishes before putting them in the dishwasher. Like, it makes sense The dishwasher doesn't always do the full job. Sometimes there's that peanut butter left on the butter knife, and nobody wants that. He's perfecting his plan. He's taking no shortcuts with his most valuable assets, the corner pieces of that jigsaw puzzle. He's making sure they are overachieving at every checkpoint so that they're more than ready when they get called up, so that they're given the absolute best possible chance to dominate when they get called up right off the bat. Smiley face. That's a great pun. We love puns on the show. When Jerry came to Seattle on September 28th, 2015, he had a 6-year plan for us to finally make the playoffs. He's in year 6 of that plan, and last year was COVID. Last year, there were no minor leagues, and the guys he wanted to have called up right now didn't get the proper development. So I'm going to delete that year for the most part. That means we're only in the 5th year of Dipoto's plan, which means that next year, 2022, is Jerry's projected year for breaking the longest playoff drought in all of Major League Sports history. In an article written by Brent Stecker of 710 ESPN Seattle, Dipoto is quoted saying this: I think the systems typically get it generally right when they're projecting win totals overall. They get the teams in the right bucket. And then when you look in the bucket of young clubs in a league, this is where the surprises usually come from, he said. You can look back at so many of the teams that have come out of the rebuilds over the last handful of years, teams like the Braves and the Astros and the Cubs, and generally speaking, they were a year ahead of projections. End quote. Last year, during the 60-game COVID season, the Mariners finished 27-33, which multiplied in a full 162-game season gives us 72.9 wins. As I said earlier, I'm a betting man, and man, I'm betting Mr. Kellenic gets called up no later than the middle of May, and even as soon as April 30th. That time has came and gone, but that's okay. When we come back to home face the Angels, that didn't happen, but we're moving on. How is any of that? And Chris continues, he says, how is anything of what I just said related? Well, in 2017, the Braves won 72 games. And in 2018, they began their streak of back-to-back-to-back-to-back NL East titles. In that same year, about a month into the season of April 25th, top-ranked prospect Ronald Acuna Jr. made his MLB debut. In 2014, the Astros went 70-92. The next year, just over 2 months into the season, on June 8th, 2015, top-ranked prospect Carlos Correa, made his MLB debut. They finished with 86 wins and a wild card playoff spot. In the same time period as the Astros, the Chicago Cubs went from a 73-win team to 2014 to a 97-win team in 2015. Top-ranked prospect Chris Bryant debuted on April 18, 2015, half a month into the season. Now, Chris's point is, all of these teams made the playoffs a year earlier than they were projected to, which happened to be the same year that each team brought up their top-ranked prospect. So if the trend is the same for the Mariners as it was for the Braves, as it was for the Astros, as it was for the Cubs, then we are in the perfect spot, as we are also 1 year ahead of the rebuilding schedule. And we are also bringing up a top-ranked prospect. But for us, we not only have one top-ranked prospect coming up to make their MLB debut, we have two, Jared and Logan. On top of that, we have a few middle-tiered prospects expected to make their debuts as well, including Mr. Beefcake Cal Rowley, a switch-hitting catcher who could be some major relief for Louis Torrens and Tom Murphy, who are hitting a combined 173 batting average. In conclusion, the Mariners are supposed to make the playoffs next year. Recent history shows teams built by a similar model have been a year early. So to you readers, and for me reading it to our listeners, we ask you to expect playoffs next year, but hope for the playoffs this year. Don't be pissed off if we don't make the playoffs this year, because we're not supposed to. But it's entirely possible. And if we make it early, if we break this horrendous 20-year playoff-less streak this season in 2021, go crazy, go nuts, go Mariners. That's poetry, Chris. But I wanted to read that to you listeners because it goes into kind of the situation that we're talking about, right? Like, it's still at the beginning of the season. We still have people coming on board at some point that we can look forward to. And by no means, right, we have hitting problems, and now all of a sudden we have pitching problems, which isn't ideal. But it's early in the season, and you know, the reason, and going back to the reason we started this podcast, we're all too familiar with getting our heart broken, or frankly, just being bored at this point for how lousy our team is, and how far we have ever come from making it to the playoffs in the last 20 years. But we're on this podcast because it's coming.
We know it's coming.
We know it's coming. It's a fact, statistically speaking. And unless there's some sort of Bambino curse, which I can't imagine.
I will speak to that real quick. There may be a curse. There may be a curse, ladies and gentlemen, that many people may not be aware of. And it all goes back to the first logo the Seattle Mariners ever had.
Oh boy, I forgot about this.
Back in Greek mythology, the god of sea, Poseidon had himself a trident. The Mariners' first logo was a trident. However, Poseidon never ever pointed that trident down to the ground. He did not, because if Poseidon pointed the trident down to the ground, that would be an omen of bad luck, and he never did that. The Mariners' first logo was an upside down trident for the M, with the tridents pointing to the ground. Therefore, I think that Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea,
of water
of the sea, has got it out for us. He's got it out for us. He's been doing some things to make sure that we don't make it. And I, for one, want to get rid of the trident
altogether. I mean, like, anyone that shows up to a ballpark in the retro Mariner hat, you think that they should be expelled from the ballpark?
No, because I'm sure they have no idea that Poseidon thought it was bad luck to point it to the ground.
Or if they know who Poseidon is.
Everett. Okay, I hope to God y'all know who Poseidon is. If you didn't go back to school. But Everett, our minor league affiliate, the Aqua Sox, they have a logo on their hat. The tridents are pointing sideways because it's the E, right? So each end of the E has a trident on the end of it. So that one's pointing sideways. And so we're getting closer to flipping it towards the right way to a W for winners. But we're not there yet. So we gotta recognize that Poseidon's got it out for us. Maybe, I don't know, but if there's a curse, that's the curse that I think that it is. And that's kind of my 2 cents on the Mariners logo, the trident. I love the color scheme. Don't get me wrong, but after hearing that, I gotta say I'm not gonna buy any gear with the trident on it just because I now think of it as a bad omen.
Dude, it's sick. It's a bummer though, because I feel like the old logos and uniforms just swagger, man.
They are swag.
They're pretty swag.
They got swag, baby.
But whatever it takes for us to make it to the playoffs, and if it has anything to do with the god of sea,
I mean, it's the Seattle Mariners.
Exactly. And the Mariners, right, belong on the sea. They're maritime professionals. And now we're just getting in the weeds here. But let me just say this. This episode is officially an homage to the great Poseidon. If you're listening out there, Mr. Poseidon, we'd really appreciate it if you could, help us out or just buzz off. Whatever needs to be done to help us.
Just hey, Poseidon, if you are hearing this, we are recognizing that we messed up with the logo. Us on this Monday Mojo podcast don't have the ability to change it. So we're letting you know we're sorry. We didn't mean to point that trident to the ground. People just didn't know. You got to advertise yourself better, Poseidon. Let them know that it's bad luck. We didn't know. So we're sorry. Stop it. Stop messing with us. Okay.
Watch it. And this is a nice little segue into our viewers around the world. I'm wondering if one day we look at, and Chris, I want you to tell about a new country that we've added to our international list. But what if one day we looked at our viewer map around the globe and there's just one little dot in the middle of the Pacific Ocean?
That'd
That'd be something, huh?
be something, huh? That'd be something. No, but we did get a new country on the map. The Swedes. We got Sweden.
Sweden.
Yes, one listener. So, Mr. Sweden, welcome to the club. Welcome to Monday Mojo. It's good to have you. Good to have you hear us, I guess. But welcome, baby. And also, kind of back to what Max was reading of what I wrote. With the missing corner pieces that are coming up soon. Let's talk about Jared Kelenic in his first game of the AAA season. Homeboy hit 2 bombs. One kind of snuck over right field, and one I don't know if it's landed. I don't know if it's landed yet. It was hit so freaking far. But he's last I checked, which was earlier today, he's been 7 for 15 in his first 15 at bats this season. He's letting everybody know that he is here. He is ready, and he's going to be some much needed horsepower to this lackluster vehicle that we are driving right
now. Patience is all us Seattle fans know. If you haven't already toss the Mariners to the side, but we understand. But what matters most is myself, Evan Barron, and Chris Sobba will be leading this train to October. Chugga for our average fans out there. And I'm telling you right now, for all the naysayers out there, Devin Gunter, you specifically, we'll dive into Evan White in just a moment. And it's funny because, Chris, you don't even know Devin Gunter, but now all of a sudden you know all about him because he's just a negative Nancy. But he's a realist, and I appreciate that. But for all you average Mariner fans out there, stick with us. We can talk about whatever you want, really, at the end of the day. But
we'll talk whatever we want at the end of the day, and you're gonna listen to it. I hope. Please and thank you. We appreciate you. We do appreciate you, but yeah, no, it's I honestly, like, it's early in the season, right? And we liked what we've seen for some things, and then we've seen a lot of ugly things, a lot of ups and lots of downs. We still have a winning record, and so let's hang on to that. It is May 9th, if I'm not mistaken. And the Seattle Mariners, it's May 9th, and the Seattle Mariners have a winning record. I don't know the last time that happened. So that's pretty cool. I'll take that, May the
9th be with you.
May the 9th be with you. Yes. Play on May the 4th be with you for all y'all that don't watch Star Wars. I guess you kind of want to talk about that. You guys do anything for Cinco de Mayo?
I did. And I was scheduled to go on a date with a gal, and I did tell her about this podcast, and she did listen to an episode, and I'm wondering if she'll ever listen to an episode. But here we go. I bailed on her like the day of, I bailed to go hang out with friends around my neighborhood. And in my defense, she lives in a really nice place in Kirkland. But I didn't feel like drinking and crossing over 520 or I-90. That's my defense. But at the end of the day, I did kind of bail on her.
You know what?
Hold on.
Unlike the Seattle Mariners defense today, that's a good defense, Max. That's a good defense. I'm proud of you for not getting behind the wheel, or for obviously making the correct choice, which was an easy choice. Sure. So well done.
So instead, I got drunk with a friend of mine, with a few friends of mine down the street. So,
Evan, what about you? You do anything for Cinco de Mayo?
No, unfortunately, because my work schedule is just it's just so weird. I work from 2:30 to 11:30, just what I signed up for with news. So I did my celebrating on Friday. I had Friday off. And so there's this new hotel for our listeners that ever want to go out to Las Vegas. I'm promoting the Circa Hotel. It's an adult only hotel opened up in downtown Las Vegas. They got the biggest sports book in the world. I bet on the Mariners, actually, when I was there. And that was the only game they won when they beat the Texas Rangers. So money line, won $20 there. So that was pretty dope. But no, overall, it's dope. I mean, they have general admission to, especially now because it's getting just so hot out. They have this, it's called Stadium Swim. And so they have like 6 different pools. and then they have these big ass TVs all over, it's like, I don't know, like 20 TVs or something like that, but they're all big, and it's just this. And they got the betting lines too up there as well. They got the cabanas. It's like I said, stadium swim. So they have it set up like that, and then you got like a bar right along the pool, and so you can just chill in the pool and order drinks that way. And so it's a really cool venue. So yeah, I did my celebrating that way. But yeah, check out the Circa if you're ever in Vegas.
Hell
Chris,
yeah.
what did you do for Cinco de Mayo?
I worked and did nothing else. I wasn't able to get my tequila on as much as I wish I could have. Get some margaritas, some taquitos, and celebrate the right way. But no, I wasn't able to do too much. But I do love that holiday more than a lot of them. It's just a fun one and a great excuse again to put some of that liquid gold to your liver.
Yeah, dude. I feel like Cinco de Mayo has just been an American holiday these days.
It's so Americanized.
Yeah, it's so American.
Do any other countries do Cinco de Mayo?
Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure Mexico, like,
it's their Independence Day.
No, it's not. See, that's the issue that we run into. Cinco de Mayo is not their Independence Day. It is something entirely different, which I can't. I'm looking up online, but it's a holiday that celebrates the date of the Mexican Army's May 5th, 1862 victory over France at the Battle of Puebla during the Franco-Mexican War. So it wasn't necessary. I think it was more of a defensive battle versus like an independence kind of situation. Cinco de Mayo's evolved. Look at this.
So was Cinco de Mayo just like them living to die another day? But like obviously they never died. That's just like a phrase I'm saying.
Right. No. Right. Exactly. It has nothing to do with their independence. Get this. While it is a relatively minor holiday in Mexico, in the United States, Cinco de Mayo has evolved into a commemoration of Mexican culture and heritage, particularly in areas with large Mexican American populations. That said, a lot of us just use that day as an excuse to drink, which
that's exactly
is
what
fun.
we used it for.
That's exactly. But
I had a meeting with a prospect on Cinco de Mayo, and we had set the meeting up the week before, and she's like, "Yeah, the only day I can do next week is gonna be May 5th." And I'm like, "Oh, Cinco de Mayo." She's like, "Oh my goodness, that's what day it is. Can we drink margaritas during the presentation?" I'm like, "I love you. I love you so much." I could not drink margaritas. I was in office, and I know my boss would have cut my head off if I had even tried that.
Yeah.
Real stickler, but yeah, no, it was pretty funny. Great prospect. She's probably gonna buy, so that's always good.
Good. We love buyers. All right. So what do we have looking forward to the Mariners for the week of the 10th?
Well, the reason we call this show Monday Mojo, obviously a play on Soto Mojo, but the thought behind it as well was we would release episodes on Monday because typically there was an off day on Monday for travel, and in most seasons Mondays that's the day with the most amount of non-games. Tomorrow is our first Monday without a game. So it is the first legitimate Monday Mojo for the reason behind the name. So that's a little fun fact to stack on you. No game tomorrow, but we travel.
Before you, sorry to cut you off, Chris. Isn't there, I mean, for as long as we've been Mariner fans, isn't there no worse feeling than having an off day when your team is in a slump? After your team goes 2-4, against, arguably bottom tier teams.
Yeah.
Then we have an off day, and we're going to spend Monday just twiddling our thumbs, reflecting and thinking. And hoping.
Yeah, but that's what we need. We need as many off days as we can right now with the injuries that we got. We need boys to get healthy and rest up and get back to full strength. And even if that would be an 80%, not even quite full, just get back. Marco, we need you back. Big time. Keenan, we need you back big time. LJ Newsom went on the DL, 10-day DL. It's crazy, man. But yeah, that's
who still hasn't given up a run?
Kendall Graven.
Dude,
Kendall
that's
Graven,
my guy.
baby. As the boys in the clubhouse call him, Big Heavy. Big Heavy is not, to this day, still not allowed to run since last year.
14 innings pitched.
That's crazy. 0.003 goose eggs of an ERA there.
That's right.
God dang, man. That's crazy. And the guy is just like a 98-mile-per-hour sinker, just blows my mind. So he's pulling it. He's doing what he can and pulling the load as much as he can. But yeah, so back kind of to the preview of what we expect for this week. Yep, 2 games against the Dodgers. And then we got 4 games against Cleveland. Yeah, the tribe. They're coming to town, and so 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. That'll be pretty fun. I hope we can win that series. I don't know how much I want to predict it with the way I've been jinxing us, I feel like. So how about this? I predict we get swept.
No.
What's that gonna do? I predict we get swept,
shit, dude.
And I'm jinxing it here.
Yeah, okay. It's reverse psychology. I get
reverse psychology on the gods, on Poseidon again.
Okay, wait. Who do we get swept by? A 2-game sweep or 4-game sweep?
Well, we don't win a game.
What? You think we go 0-6?
No. I'm just saying it.
I'm
just saying we go.
Wink, wink, wink. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yes, you smelling what I'm stepping in? You bagging what I'm
mowing?
Okay,
well, here, let's try something new. Evan, out of the upcoming 6 games here, what's your prediction? And it can be reverse psychology. It can be genuine. What's the producer thinking?
I'm thinking maybe it's 6 games, so I'd say probably 2-4. So under 500.
Yeah,
a little more realistic. I mean, the Dodgers, you just don't know what it's going to be playing with their injuries and how it's going to unfold there.
They're playing with a chip on their shoulder too.
Yeah, but
we have the same record as them right now. I'm just saying, both 18-17. Oh, yeah, both 18-17. Kikuchi is going to be going night 1 for us, and Justin Dunn's going to be going night 2.
Okay.
And
like so, it's like with Kikuchi. I don't know, like you see some flashes of greatness when he had against Houston, so it's there, and I love seeing that raw emotion that Chris keeps pointing out there, but it's just so hit and miss with him. So if you could have like a great game and they could pick up a W that way, but I don't know, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and our bullpen's going to be on rest, and Yusei is the guy that out of our starting pitchers I feel like can go the deepest with being productive in going those deep innings. And so that tomorrow with that day off is going to be much needed rest for that bullpen. And then, so we'll kind of see what can happen there. Again, though, I do like playing the harder teams. That's really where those real tests happen, and we really get to see what we're made of because we go against the big dogs, and that's where you really got to shine. But we'll see what happens. And I noticed kind of a side note here that Mitch Haniger wasn't in right field today, and Max, I believe it was the game that we were watching. Yeah. There's a ball hit to Mitch in right field that he let bounce and he got off one hop, where I really feel like if he had done a diving effort, he really could have gotten it. But I feel like something's going on with Mitch in terms of his speed. And also kind of noticing him around the bases. He's not chugging as fast as he normally can chug. And so I don't know if it's still kind of revamping the lengthy list of injuries that he's been going through and getting back to full health in terms of his legs. But I don't know. Kind of side note there, something to keep an eye on.
I hear what you're saying, but keep in mind, we've talked about this before. Mitch is one of our main guys. He's one of our main producers. And for as long as we can hope, that's going to be the case. And with our young guys that are batting under 200, we got to be mindful of keeping that much pressure off of someone like Mitch Haniger and Kyle Seager and Ty France, right? It just so happens that, Kyle Seager's doing fairly well. JP Crawford is picking his bat up, which is huge because Mitch Haniger and Ty France, who we were ecstatic to the moon at the beginning of the season, are starting to struggle. Now, this is where I think we're seeing most of the problems. It's just plain and simple. Our 2-3 guys that usually produce aren't producing, and go figure. The rest of the team doesn't produce. So with all that being said, I think things are going to turn around this week. However, I'm going to keep my prediction modest. I'm going to say 3-3. I think we're going to go 3-3 over this next week. And I really do want to get our record above 500 as much as possible, but it's just, there's a couple kinks that we still got to work out.
There are a couple kinks we still got to work out. There's no doubt about it. And that's going to be this is going to be the story of the season. Ups and downs, baby. It's going to test you. It's going to test me. It's going to drive us freaking nuts. But that's the point. That's the point. That shows that we're caring, because you want to get driven nuts by these boys. Like, you want to be losing your mind and wondering what the hell they're doing and why they're not tagging the runner at home plate, Luis Torrens, when you could get the easy out, or when they're hitting bombs in the late innings, like Kyle Lewis, a 3-run bomb against the Orioles, and we end up winning the game. I mean,
that's right.
It's a lot of some goods and some bads, and I mean, it sucks that stuff happens when we lose these games that we should be winning, but
it's baseball.
It's baseball, and it's growing pains that we're going to continue to be going through. We're a growing team. We're young as hell. But one guy I want to talk about who's not on the team, he's in the organization, but he's not on the Mariners. He's not on the Rainiers. He is not even on Everett. He's down in Modesto playing for the Nuts. Mr. Sam Carlson. What? He is a 22-year-old pitcher, Sam Carlson. He's like 6 foot something, weighs 200 and some odd pounds.
6 foot something? Does that mean he's 6'5", 6'8"? What
he's
are we
tall as
talking
hell.
about?
Sorry, he's a big boy. He's a big boy. And he throws gas. But it had been 1,390 days since yesterday. It was 1,390 days since he had his last appearance in baseball, playing professional baseball. He had gone through injuries, and he's just had a hell of a road back to the league. Last night on Saturday, he started the game, gave up no runs. I think he had maybe 4 hits and 4 strikeouts, but he made it back after going through hell. And that's some beauty of baseball, when this guy's grinding it out, and he's getting back to, being where he was projected to be, which is a really good pitcher. He's got a cool story, and I was DMing him actually last night, congratulating him, letting him know, I'm rooting for him and hoping he can continue climbing back to where we want him to be, and hopefully make it to the league. But he's hopefully gonna be coming on the show next week. Actually, told me that he would love to. He asked me to follow up with him in midweek, just because of how overwhelmed he is with messages he's been getting from everybody, letting them know how pumped they are that he's back and doing his thing after a hell of a road, going through hell, but coming back the other side. It's cool. It's cool to see that. And so there's another kind of young spotlight to keep an eye on there too.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, as we wrap things up for this episode, this is this our double-digit episode? Is this episode 10?
This is
baby, reaching double digits.
Double digits. Episode 10. We hope you enjoyed listening to our voices. One last thing I wanted to bring up, guys. Do we have any candidates for sit down?
Wasn't I supposed to sit down? What did Devin say?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we already sat you down last week because you were so bullish on Evan White, and you were just pretending and manifesting, which is totally appropriate, but you already sat down. I think you're good. Evan is always standing up because he's an Emmy nominated producer. I don't think we have anyone to sit down. I think the Mariners might have to sit down just as a team after this week.
Yeah. I mean, we've been no hit 3 times since 2019.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's not good to be on that side of history. Granted, there's also been like 4 no-hitters already this year. I think they need to move the mound back. They need to do something to help these out, because I mean,
think about bats bigger.
Think about make the bats bigger.
Yeah. Put corks in them like Sammy Sosa.
Now that I could mess with, man. You know what? Why not, man? Get some offensive juggernauts in there.
Yeah.
No, they need to do something, man. Like the pitchers, it's so much easier for a human body to develop faster over time, and adjust and get stronger. Essentially, as a pitcher, they're getting stronger. But then for human eyes, they don't really develop, right? Like our human eyes, right? Our eyeballs, they don't develop nearly as quickly as muscle strengths on your arms can. And so the pitchers are able to get stronger, but the hitters, they can't react as quick because everything that's getting thrown is gas. And like, I'm not making excuses, but if you're the MLB, if you're Rob Manfred, go to hell. You suck, Rob Manfred. I hate you so much, man.
Sit down, Rob Manfred.
You sit down, Rob Manfred. You are just the absolute worst. Commissioner of the MLB for y'all that don't know that. If they need to move, they need to do something. Lower the strike zone, move the mound back, get it more to where hitters can. It's more fun. It's more fun when there's runs getting scored. Everybody wants to see it.
And if MLB's biggest issue right now is getting more viewership, runs is gonna bring them a whole new audience. Certainly would make Mariner games even more of a priority for me, in my opinion.
Already my number one priority.
Hey, okay. See, I knew you'd give me shit for that, but like if I had the chance to go out on a Friday night. Or if there's a hefty Mariner game on, it's like I don't have the confidence to say, damn, well, this could be a big game because the Mariners are going to put up 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10 runs. But I digress.
I hear you loud and clear. I'm putting that Mariners game on.
All right, good for you.
But I mean, I don't like anything more than sitting down and watching a ball game. And
Amen.
And seeing, I want to see what the boys are, how they're progressing. And again, we got the youngest, I think the youngest squad in the entire league. And so go back to it. Patience, baby. Patience, baby. Patience, baby.
Patience to you listeners. We will make Chris's manifesto, Be Patient, Mariner fans. Our time has almost come, available on some sort of platform. But as always, we appreciate you listening. Tell your friends. Tell your Mariner fans, tell your baseball friends, baseball fan friends. Evan, Chris, do we have anything else before we sign off?
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like crap, man. I got my COVID shot, like I said earlier. I got that COVID shot earlier today.
Yeah,
getting a little headache. I feel
after the first shot.
Yeah,
I don't think that's supposed to happen, man.
It's happened to some people. Again, I did get the J&J, so that supposedly.
Okay. Here, I'm okay. If you got the J&J,
yeah,
congratulations, by the way, because you're pretty much done. What, you got it today?
I did.
Yeah, you're. I'm going to be fully honest with you. You're probably going to wake up tonight in sweats, like having the sweats.
Yeah, not in a pair of sweats.
No, not in a pair of sweats, but you're going to wake up. I think you're not going to feel too hot. I think. Just get. I've had a number of friends that have gotten that situation, but if you're out there listening. Get your COVID shot so we can be done with all this shit.
And also for the Mariners fans, if you're not aware of this already, it's really cool that the Rainiers started this. And now that Safeco's doing it as well. And I'm sure there's other teams and sports doing this, but they're doing COVID vaccinated sections only. And the tickets are pretty damn cheap. And so that'll just allow for more fans in the stadium.
That'll allow for more wins.
Yes. We need more people in them stands cheering them boys on. And that's like one thing, like one other thing. And when the boys are struggling, we are going to get upset. We're going to be angry. We're supposed to hold them accountable, but don't lose track of the fact that it's a fun team, man. It's a fun bunch of boys. When something good happens, Taylor Trammell loses his mind in the dugout. He's making funny dances, moves, and that's the kind of stuff you want to see from your players. At least that their head is in it, and that obviously they're major league players. Obviously they want to win, but when they really are showing that emotion and stuff, that's just solidifying the fact as a fan, like, all right, they're just as much of a fan of this stuff as we are. They are hating this even more than we are when we're not winning these games and when we're getting no hit and when we're it's just they're in the same boat as us. They're fans of the team. They're also players of the team. They want to win. We want to win. We're all in the boat together. So enjoy what hopefully will be a good week of baseball coming up here. We're not going to get 0-6. I know I said it, but I'm trying to do reverse psychology here.
Well, you just reverse psychology. You reverse psychology, but that's okay. I get it. You're the optimist of the show. That's totally understandable. All right. Well, thanks again for listening, guys. Episode 10 is at a conclusion. Most importantly, have yourselves a very productive week. Stay healthy, stay safe. And Chris, what do we always say at the end?
Go Mariners.
Go Mariners.